And today, DTM Anil Lobo still he's doing evaluation for Toastmaster Kazakhstan. I would like to welcome him for a fun and learn session. So let's welcome DTM Anil Lobo to dais.
I'm going to move this slightly so I can get bigger speaking area. Now, how many of you have seen the latest movie, The Bohemian Rhapsody? It's not come to Kuwait, is it?
No.
Okay. I was fortunate. I saw it in the Netherlands recently. It's a beautiful story.
Were you high?
No, I was musically high, yes. Now, why did I go for this movie? Because I wanted to. I love Queen. I loved Queen's music, and especially the song Bohemian Rhapsody is something that I could relate with. Why do you stand here and speak? Because you want to, you love to. And you want to connect with the audience. Sadly, what happens with most of us when we come here, we come here to stand and speak. And it's like something I'm scared to do. And I just want to speak, finish it off and say, go back and sit. You have not come here to put yourself under pressure and intimidate yourself or the audience. You have come here because, number one, you have something to share with the audience. And number two, the audience has something to gain from you. If these two things don't match, your speech will fall flat. Now, how do you write a speech? Let's ask a question. How many of you have not yet given icebreaker speech in the street? Not even first project. Okay, excellent. How many of you have given between, you two, very good. How many of you have given between 1 to, say, 3 or 4 speeches? And I presume the rest of you have given at least 4 or more speeches. Now, the first time you come up here to give a speech is the most intimidating. It is the most challenging. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend the next 10 to 12 minutes explaining to you how to write a speech and how to deliver the speech. Very simple. To start with, number one, where do you start with your speech when you start writing it? Do you start with the opening? Do you start with the body? Do you start with the conclusion? Or do you start with the title of the speech? Title, very good.
Idea.
Idea, so that means what? Just an idea? Okay, very good. Opening.
The general thing?
A quote.
Plan and ideas.
Plan and idea, okay, very good. 2 or 3 of you on the same.
Okay, I'm going to end with the message I'm going
Okay, now I want to ask you. You're like going away from all of them. What is the reason?
because I want people to understand, the last words matters.
That is the most important reason you come up here to speak. What is my take-home message? After listening to me for 5 to 7 minutes and you walk out of this room, what impression have I left on the audience? Your take-home message is the way you start the speech. Your conclusion is the most important part of the speech. Write your conclusion first. Write 3 to 4 lines, no more, of your conclusion. That is your speech. I would like to conclude now. Turn off the lights, turn off the taps, and don't waste paper, because this world is depleting its natural resources and we can reuse, recycle, and reuse. Over to you, Toastmaster. That was the conclusion. 2 sentences or 3 sentences. That is the take-home message. Start with the conclusion. If you write a speech with the opening, you will forget what's the take-home message. Now, once you have the conclusion, the next thing you do is you write your opening lines. And that is where the quote comes in. A phrase, ideas. You write them down as the ideas come, just jot it down. What I like to do is take a plain white piece of paper, and on the back, I'll put bullets. Point 1, point 2, point 3. I will not number them as 1, 2, or 3, or prioritize them as high priority, low priority, medium priority, nothing. Just random thoughts that come to me, I'm going to write them down. And then what do I do after that? I fold my paper and I keep it away. What? Put it away? Did he say it right? Yes. Put it away. Open it after a few hours, look at it, and say, how many of these points are related to my conclusion? Scratch out those that are irrelevant. You might want to add 1 or 2 more points. Now your speech, at least the way I write it, is not written overnight. It takes me 3 to 5 days just to write the outline of my speech. Another 2 to 3 days to clean it out. And another 3 to 4 days to practice it. And that's how it becomes a good speech, an award-winning speech, a contest level speech. So once you write all these ideas out, you start filtering them as you go along and see which are the irrelevant conclusion. Now the bottom line is your conclusion, your take-home message. If you're talking about rain in Kuwait, global warming, how is it affected to recycle, reuse and reduce? Let's remove it. It was a great idea, but not for this speech. Let's talk about carpooling. Maybe it could be a part of my speech. Let's add that. Once you start identifying all this, then you start writing your opening line. Your opening can be a quote. It could be statistics, numbers and facts. It could be anything that you feel, but remember, memorize it so well that if your opening is great and powerful, the audience is going to listen to you. If you start with a very weak opening and you are a little fumbling and speaking and fidgeting and touching and moving, the audience will say, he doesn't know what he's talking about, or she doesn't know what she's talking about. And they will start tuning out. And once they tune out, to bring them back is very difficult, because the third part is the body of your speech. In the body of your speech is where you put all the meat. For those who are vegetarians, all the potatoes. That is where you put the content. In here you have stories, anecdotes. You personalize it with your stories. You might have testimony and facts that you have pulled out from the research libraries. You might also have some props that you want to show, some graphs and figures. That comes in the content. Now, very important thing. If you're going to give a 5 to 7 minute speech, don't try to put 5 to 7 items in your body of your speech, because that will overwhelm us. It'll be like as if you're speaking in Malayalam to an English audience, or speaking German to an Arab audience. You will be lost. People will not know what you're saying. You're speaking so fast. People need time for the ideas to digest in their head. And once it goes into the head, it gets processed, and then it goes to the heart. People listen to your speech intellectually, but they feel the warmth of your speech emotionally. So if I give you a speech that is too intellectual, you walk out of the room and you will not listen and do anything. But if you say, yes, I agree with him, oh, I want to do that, they will then follow through with it. That is why personalize your speech. As much as practically possible, personalize your speech. Take it from various sources and put it together. I hope somebody's telling me.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. I hope you.
Identical.
No one is listening. Okay. Now that you know that you write your speech in such a way that you start with conclusion, you have the opening and you have the body. How are you going to move to the next level? That is very simple. Write down your speech with bullets. Point 1, point 2, point 3. A 5 to 7 minute speech should have no more than 3 points in it. If you have a longer speech, like a keynote speech, you might go 10 to 12 points. But in a regular Toastmaster level speech, no more than 3 points. You might have 10 points that you want to share. Choose 3 or 4 of these 10 points and share with us. Then you start understanding the timing. Timing is very crucial. You have to time each segment. Now, one way that I like to do timing is I record, I put my little camera phone, take 5 steps away from it. I look into that and I talk and I move around thinking that this is the stage. Then I go back and I see, am I loud and clear? And how graphic are my body movements? Am I too dancing, or am I too stiff? Practice as often as you can. Use the camera phone. If you have a camera like in the back of the room, that's even better. In order for you not to forget the content of your speech, use index cards, cue cards. There are 2 or 3 standard sizes. The smallest one is a 3x5. You have a 4x6, and then you have the standard A6. No, it's an A6 paper. This is A4. You fold it twice. This becomes A5, and this becomes A6. This size is your index card. On your index card, and try to use thicker paper, preferably like the, I don't know what's called it, the one you get in the stationery shop, a little thicker paper, and you get different colors. On the index card, you write down key points. Point 1 is on one index card, big letters. You will not write out your whole speech on the index card. You will have the point. First point, reuse. And on the back of the index card, you might have certain ideas that you have to share. So when you look at this, okay, reuse, 1, 2, 3 things you want to share about. The next card, and so forth. You will number them so that you don't get lost. I like to use colors. Green is my opening. The last card is usually also green, is my conclusion, and yellow is in the middle. So when I need to go to the conclusion, I know where I have to look for my next green card, and I move into my conclusion. Now that we know how to write a speech, what is the last thing that we need to do? A nice
ending. You're running out of time.
Tell me, what is it? The title is the most important. Imagine I tell you, come, let's go for a movie, and you'll say, yeah, sure, which movie? It's a nice movie. Yeah, but what is it? It's a horror movie. Yeah, but what horror movie is it? It's a scary horror movie. You have to have a nice, catchy title. It should not be a very long one. I remember an icebreaker speech. The guy says, the title of my speech is A, B, C, D. And I was like, why not E, F, G also? And it was, his name was Denzel. It says, it's A, B, C, D is a boy called Denzel. I remember it till today. 17 years ago he gave that speech. I remember the speech because of the title. It was a very catching speech. So what you have to do is write a nice speech with a conclusion. Have a great memorized opening. The body should have 3 to 4 points at the most. Massage it with a lot of stories, anecdotes, statistics, facts, testimonials. Rehearse it. Use index cards to organize it. Practice, practice, practice. I spent 3 to 5 days practicing. Use a camera to practice. Have a mentor to practice. Have a nice catchy title which goes along with the conclusion of the speech. And then come up here and deliver an award-winning speech that the audience will listen to intellectually and will feel close to you emotionally. A combination of all these is what will make you from a good speaker to a great speaker and the best speaker. If you have any questions during the break, I will share some more ideas along with you. Over to you.
Thank you.